Painfully, Kyle started grabbing anything he could reach, smashing it into his face to see what it could possibly do for him. Kyle decided to stay put and wither away. Kyle withered successfully and died. Well, Rachel, you look way too thin and absolutely terrible, and you should feel ugly. Kyle gave Jim a meaningful stay. Within seconds, the production equipment was doused in water. The set was soon aburst with electrical fires.
Everything's on fire. Wait, we're dead. My dogs. People ask all the time, what's it like to be famous? And as a resident expert on the subject, lots of people come and ask me that exact question. And the honest answer is, being famous isn't all it's cracked up to be. You're basically the same as every other normal person on the planet. We all eat, we all drink water, we all breathe air. There's really not much difference. The only difference between a normal person and a famous person is that us famous people were just more important and better than you guys in every way. But that's not an answer that satisfies a lot of people. And so I thought, maybe need to get more insight into my day-to-day life. So at first I thought, I don't really have a good dedicated vlogging camera. The answer came to me. Game developers. They came up to me and they said, bro, we want to do a game about your life. And I said, look, man, I don't really know about all that. They said, listen, loads of people want to know what it's like into the life of the rich and the famous. Mostly famous. And I said, I guess I can give you a rundown of a typical day-to-day for me. My life is a bit varied because famous. But, I can give you guys that chance. I said, thank you. I said, the only thing that you need to do is just make sure that I'm not named specifically. I don't want people to know that this is me. Although, now I'm still snitching. But the game's been out for quite a while, so it doesn't really matter. They said, cool, what kind of name do you want to go with? I was thinking, what's the complete opposite of my name? And I said, you know what, we'll go with Kyle. I said, isn't that a bit of a wet name? And I said, yeah, but just go with it. To all the Kyles in the audience, sorry, not sorry. So today we're gonna be giving you guys a basic blow by blow of what a typical day in the life is for me, or what it can be anyway. In a game called Kyle is Famous. Let me sit down for this real quick. My throne. Ugh. And the camera. Typical camera position. My phone is ringing. What's this? Hello? That was the Russo brothers. They want to do a biopic of my life. But they're gonna have to compete with Steven Spielberg in order to get that role. And Christopher Nolan. So I'll update you guys on the community post on what's going on. Anyway. Wait! Yeah. This class cat. Okay, stop, bro. Dun, dun, dun. Who is in the booth? Who the hell was in the booth? Let me make sure my settings is good. Yep. Oh, not. Okay. Oh! I should stream this one time. Maybe I will, bro. Maybe I will. Unlocks. So yeah, alright. Let's just get into it, bro.
Kyle woke up. He is famous.
Yes, I am.
Kyle is host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Kyle. Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed. Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man.
Okay, so clearly they didn't get all the details right.
Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields.
Shout out to robots. Baymax. Shout out to Baymax, bro.
Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details.
Too many podcasts asking for my
Most online videos are best-of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast.
worldwide phenomenon, yes, sir.
The eye of the world is upon Kyle. Tonight is Kyle's most important guest interview yet.
Who am I interviewing? Jesus?
Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. She
That
is a
ain't Jesus.
kind and lovely philanthropist.
Mmm.
She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation.
Oh, what? We can't just wing it? Oh, bun that then, blood.
Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview.
Yeah, they got my procrastinating instincts in this bit.
Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely.
You son of a... Kyle's first decision in the morning was made wisely. Oh, who? I have to make choices. What am I gonna do? Browse social media.
Kyle started to scroll through news articles on his phone.
Uh-huh.
Stay Up Late with Kyle ranked #1 and #2 show on television.
I'm popular as hell. Hold on. Let's get some more news.
New East Bridge being constructed after being found to not actually exist. Authorities investigating.
America crazy, though. I mean, wherever this is crazy.
Another grand larceny and crime spree streak. Evidence points to perpetrator fleeing the country.
Wait! My hours went down. Oh, crap. Alright, we'll get out this bit. Took a quick glance around this room. Scavenge. Oh, what? Let's go scavenging.
Kyle quickly crouched down on the floor, realizing his immediate need for
Gossip, bro.
Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below.
They kind of sound like bad. I ain't gonna hold
I
you.
heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girlfriend, tell me more.
Don't have to sound that into me, bro.
Well, what I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers. A stunned silence. Then a door opened, and someone exited the neighbor's apartment.
What do you mean that's enough? We just heard there's Spider-Man here. We have to find Spider-Man, bro. Leave. Yeah, the neighbor. She's Spider-Man, bro.
Kyle approached his downstairs neighbor's door and knocked.
Yeah?
A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door.
Consume Gabby? Let's start conversation.
Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly.
Yeah, see?
Gabby asked Kyle, are you the bug vigilante?
Yeah, Gabby. Are you?
For a moment, Gabby looked stunned, but then she realized his seriousness. Gabby nodded once.
We got Spider?
The door shut in Kyle's face.
Oh, wait. I got an interview. Wait, hold on. How do I... What do I do? It's been 22 hours, bruh. We got a unlocked door. Let's check it
Kyle
out.
walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
Go on then, lad. Have we got a 5-head?
Kyle decided it would be best to try to force the door open with use of his face. After smashing his features into solid wood for several minutes, Kyle gained severe short-term amnesia.
This is coming back to me. We have to go for the interview, right? I can't... Where's the interview option? Shit, I guess I'll visit the tech store. I walked into the clean white tech store. He was greeted by Techno Jim, an elaborate cutout mascot playing soft music from a small microphone. We'll get hold of case!
Before the attendant could acknowledge him, Kyle grabbed Techno Jim by the shoulders.
Yeah?
Finding that Techno Jim's cardboard feet were bolted to the ground, Kyle started to heave upwards.
Uh-oh.
After several tugs, Techno Jim broke free, leaving one foot and one leg behind.
Grab him, though.
Kyle glanced at the attendant, who was staring, bewildered, and ran outside.
What a pagan. Alright, we're going back to the apartment.
Kyle hurried to the set.
I got set.
Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity.
Okay,
As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled.
let's go.
Rachel's smile quickly turned to shock as she realized Kyle had
Hey!
not put on clothes that day.
What? What kind of game?
Kyle waved and smiled broadly. Rachel uncomfortably averted her eyes.
It's because she knows I got that.
Kyle started making his rounds around the room, greeting each crew member, none of whom looked at him directly.
What pieces of...
As it became apparent that Kyle had no intention of leaving, Rachel made some excuses and exited the set.
What about the interview, bitch? Come on now. This was supposed to be for you. You the guest.
One by one, the crew followed suit.
Bunch of losers. Give me something from like the costume set or whatever.
Kyle was left all alone.
I am so lonely. Ah, how many endings are there to this bit? Unlocks. Oh yeah, I did a couple of these. 2 out of 25 unlocks. Okay. Endings, there we go. Oh, I did a bunch of them already. Oh, poo. Oh, poo! Would you... Hey! How many? 117! Alright, let's stop playing it up for jokes, bro. 117 endings is crazy, though. Fuck. Alright, come. Alright. Should we start properly and then end goofily? What was behind that locked door? I want to know what was in the locked door. Okay, first.
Kyle decided to take
Get some clothes, bro.
the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is.
Give me... Yeah!
Kyle was unsure of what exactly caused him to decide to wear his armor, but it felt like the right thing to do. After much squeezing and sweating, Kyle managed to wrap the metal suit around his dumpy self.
Pause on that first bit, bro. Okay, so now we got clothes. We're not a nudist anymore. Where was the... Okay, in the hallway. Yeah, the locked door. What's in this bit?
Kyle walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
I did this before. It gave me amnesia. Okay, maybe there has to be a key somewhere. Maybe in the kitchen. Okay. I want the key. Sit at desk. Maybe it's at like desk. Check in desk drawer. Yeah. There's a key in here? Yeah, small key.
Kyle grabbed the small key he kept in his desk.
Yeah. Back to room. Yeah, check the locked door.
Kyle walked over to the strange door in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
I got the key though. Ah, poo. So I'm just gonna get amnesia again. Maybe my armor. Okay. Maybe she has my key. Ask her about herself.
Gabby asked Kyle, "Tell me about yourself."
Talk to me, Gabby.
Gabby stiffened. "Oh, you know," she said, putting on a fake smile. "I just sit around here."
Ain't you the bug bit?
"Yes, I don't get around much. Never go out at night. I just stay here, right here." Gabby glared at Kyle. Convinced by Gabby's statement, Kyle bid her goodbye and returned.
Bro, she was moving odd. What do you mean you were convinced by her? Yeah, go on,
As
lad.
Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. "Good evening, Kyle," she said, looking him in the eyes. "I've been looking forward to being here."
His voice is stimulating.
Kyle responded. Kyle stretched his arms wide, tilted his neck upwards, and was interrupted by his producer telling him and Rachel that it was time to start the show.
Fine.
A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on.
Things are getting serious.
Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction.
Become Rachel. Yes, let's become Rachel.
However, said Kyle, suddenly dropping his voice, Rachel May is not sitting next to me.
Don't like the way you're speaking in my ear, Kang.
She is not new to this show. She did not walk in before me.
My ears! Stop!
In fact, said Kyle, I am Rachel May. Rachel looked at Kyle, confused, and silently mouthed the words, You are who?
I'm you, bitch!
Kyle stood up quickly and threw his arm high above him, pointing upwards.
God?
I have never been, Kyle, he proclaimed. I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Kyle.
You've never been... Okay.
Kyle looked and pointed directly at the camera. I am here for but one reason. To interview myself.
I'm the only interesting person in the world.
Kyle sat down in his chair and went to produce the notes he had taken earlier.
Yeah.
It was then that Kyle remembered that he had not bothered to prepare any notes for the interview.
First, I gotta put on clothes. Now I have to prepare notes? Bro. This is a trash job.
Realizing he did not know how to handle this situation, Kyle began sweating profusely. But he
Ew.
continued. Firstly, he said, Is your name Kyle? No! Kyle slammed his fist down repeatedly. Then he stopped talking.
I'm about to break the set, bro. Chill before I slam you.
A thick, uncomfortable silence hung over the studio. The silence did not end. The cameras continued to roll. Nobody moved or spoke. Eventually, Rachel got out of her chair and walked off screen.
I might do the same
One by one, members of the crew followed suit.
This loyal piece of crap. What?
Eventually, Kyle was left alone in the studio, camera still running, silently sitting in frame.
No, I'm playing.
This episode of Stay Up Late with Kyle became the longest episode in television history.
Oh, we won something. World record. Let's go.
Kyle continued to sit in front of the camera all night and into the morning, wishing it would end.
What? What do you mean? Just stop. Is he possessed?
As evening fell again, the crew shuffled back in one by one, getting in places to film that day's episode.
And?
Kyle continued to sit motionless, cameras rolling, as the crew chatted about their days and got in position. Eventually, the crew officially started the next episode. Kyle was prompted to introduce himself again.
Bishop.
Kyle had produced an incredibly artistic episode.
Well done, me, man. Yes, sir. Artistic in this bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a proper route. So that's gonna be like, okay, getting out of bed, putting on. It was dark and you could only see his hanging shirts. Why is that in red? Is that like something I have to come back to later? I will see. All right, we put on.
Kyle decided to take some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is.
We'll put on the nice suit.
Kyle miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit.
Why am I
Chest
violating
pockets were
myself?
filled with random knickknacks.
Okay, nice. Knickknacks. All right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, write notes. There we go. Okay.
Kyle wrote down his first question.
I can't believe I said. Okay, I said I was doing a proper route. I'll do a proper route. Fine.
Kyle wrote down his second question. Kyle wrote down his third question. Kyle wrote down his last question. Kyle ripped his page of notes out of the notebook and got up from the desk.
So I got a suit. I prepared notes. I don't know what else I have to do to have a good interview. Maybe just be polite. I bet it's gonna say I have to eat. So I'm gonna eat. Because this game is being too realistic. Check the pantry.
Kyle wanted to access the pantry, but found it was locked with a small keyhole.
Oh, the key! I had the key. Where was the key? It was in the desk. Yeah. Check. Yeah!
Kyle grabbed the small key he kept in his desk.
Is it gonna be in the kitchen? In the pantry?
Kyle wanted to access the
Yeah!
pantry, but it was locked with a small keyhole.
Man's a genius, blood.
The pantry door lock creaked as if it hadn't moved for years, but eventually opened.
What's in this bit?
Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard.
How you absolutely... Yeah, ignore that bit. Return to the hallway. Alright, we on set. Prepare for the perfect interview. Hi, Kyle!
Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded. And I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest.
Correct.
After other mild exchanges of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on.
This music's fire, like the
Good evening,
BBC.
everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I bet you is, babe. You gonna get hella clout from my show.
In response, Kyle collapsed on the floor.
No! The food!
From a combination of stressful preparation
Come
and not
on,
eating
man!
anything, Kyle had passed out.
I got the key! The battery was full of lard! That's not food!
Nobody in the studio quite knew what to do with him. They began to poke Kyle in the back to see if he moved.
Ugh.
After a while, they ended the broadcast, shut off the lights, and went home.
They're not even gonna come help me! Oh, bunch of pagans!
Kyle was left face first on the floor.
Ass up! I opened the pantry. There weren't ish in the desk. Notes.
Kyle,
Shush! We're speed running. Kitchen. Fridge.
Kyle opened the fridge, intending to find something to eat.
Okay. Rust on the fridge wall. Okay. Ugh.
Kyle constructed a breakfast of poached eggs and toast, along with a small fruit cup and grilled sausage.
Now I'm hungry, nigga.
Kyle ate his breakfast slowly and thoughtfully, enjoying every bite.
That noise was not
Felt
nice.
refreshed.
Ah! Get off me. Return. What am I gonna do for 10 hours? What's in my drawer? There are other things, right? Change, CDs, flashlight, and the key. The key thing is just for the pantry, but the pantry is trash. Let's grab some money.
Kyle scooped up the change scattered around the desk drawer.
Oh! The tech store. We have money! Oh, man. Okay. Next run.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in.
Yeah, we didn't get to this bit. Because I stuffed myself with food this time. Which I wanted to do okay.
I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile.
I don't like her.
Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier.
Are you a mother?
Rachel, I and many others would love to know, are you a mother? Kyle looked up from his notes.
Not for any specific reason. I just want to know if you're a mother or not.
Well, being a single woman with a career, she answered, that's not something that has crossed my mind.
If you ever want to be a mother, you know your boy Kyle right here.
Rachel smiled genuinely at Kyle.
You know she want. Okay.
Very reasonable indeed, said Kyle. He referenced his paper of questions. Kyle asked another question.
What's your funniest story, dude?
You've been involved in a lot of different things, said Kyle. But what's your funniest story? Well, that's a great question, Kyle, said Rachel.
This guy's female voice is rubbing me the wrong way, man. I don't know.
I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family.
Always goes well.
In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt in the pot.
That's so wrong. What do you talk? Milk? You're wrong. She needs to be locked up and not let out. That's
While
trash.
My family was sick from trying to eat it. I swiped their things and locked myself in my room.
Wait, she's a thief. She a thief, mom. She stole from her family.
Rachel laughed elegantly.
You're not trying to. You're not gonna laugh your way out of this one. Like you didn't just try to poison your family, putting milk instead of water in soup, and then said you swiped their things and locked yourself in your room. You're a criminal. Mama, she's a criminal.
Kyle decided to move on.
Yeah.
Kyle asked another question.
You got some nice hips and eyes. What are your diet
Rachel,
tips?
You managed to keep such
Yeah,
a
exactly.
healthy figure, said Kyle. What is your best diet tip?
For those of you who don't know, like on air, you have to keep a certain level of decorum. But basically, what he said is, "Damn, girl, you thick as." Okay.
Well, a good diet starts with a plan, answered Rachel. And don't break it. Cheat days can turn into a habit. But, she continued, that doesn't mean a midnight snack here and there isn't allowed. She smiled.
You know she's gobbling on like a whole ass chocolate cake.
Kyle looked at his flabby self, decided not to comment, and moved on.
Why can't I get Kyle to hit the gym? Huh? You flabby
Kyle asked another question.
The final question. Is your guilty pleasure flabby white men?
We all have one. What's your guilty pleasure? Ooh, well, that's an easy answer, said Rachel, dipping pickles in chocolate sauce.
You're wrongin'. You're a straight wrongin'. I don't want to know you.
It might sound strange, but it's tangy and sweet at the same time. I eat it far too often. Rachel smiled sweetly. After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper.
Rachel May, will you marry me? Come on, bro.
Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you. If that's the case, Kyle, may I ask you something in return?
She's gonna ask me out. She's gonna ask me
time.
out. Come on now, Kyle.
Do you prepare for your interviews in advance? Because you seem very together.
Like me and you together, Rachel. Come on.
Before Kyle could answer, the camera shut down. The broadcast was over.
My crew is cock blocking me. What the hell?
Kyle returned home knowing the interview had gone well.
Do you have her number? Then it didn't go well.
But as he lay in bed and drifted to sleep, he felt that...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Something was still missing?
Yes, something is missing. Her number in your phone contacts, bro. We're not gonna mess this up next time. We're gonna ask the right questions. The right questions. We're gonna ask the right questions. We're gonna ask the right questions. Am I a mother? Alright, do you want to be a mother?
Kyle wrote down his second question.
Have you ever eaten a raw egg whole? It's like slippery something down your... Okay.
Kyle wrote down his third question.
Do you ever smile? Only when you're on an interview with... Come on, these questions are genius!
His last question.
What's your guilty pleasure? You know, come on. Are you guilty? Do you feel guilty? Come on now.
Kyle ripped his page of notes
Do you
out of
feel
the
guilty
notebook and
not
got up
asking
from the
me
desk.
out on a date? Like, there was something in the drawer. Oh, CDs. We gon' serenade her on air. Dance music. What? Wait. Oh, do we take Connie music or dance music? He's a white man, so what he know about Connie? Take the dance music. We gonna be what? Yeah, come on, Kyle. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, free sample. Hell yeah, dude.
This phone, said Kyle, is several years old and has exposed wires coming out of the back.
At the back.
Kyle continued. Also, the screen has had issues ever since I used it to hammer nails into the wall.
This nigga Kyle is.
Furthermore, when I submerge it in water, I get severely shocked until it runs out of battery.
Oh. You're one of. You're a. Kyle. Maybe I'm your caretaker. Maybe I'm not you. I'm just your caretaker, bro.
The attendant looked at Kyle, pursed his lips, and said nothing.
Don't look at me like that.
Feeling he had made his argument, Kyle decided to leave.
Wait, that was my review of the free sample? My phone is a free sample? But I'm rich, famous Kyle. I'm stay up late with Kyle. I should be able to afford the brand new Apple iPhone gazillion with like 13 cameras on the front. And we get her to come on, bro.
As Rachel started to reply, Kyle clamped his hand over her mouth.
Uh-oh.
Hush, he said.
Ooh.
We need to do something before we can continue.
Oh, Kyle, you're trying to get with her tonight.
Kyle removed the CD he had brought to the interview and placed it in a nearby player deck.
Because our set has just got everything you could ever want and need.
The sound system kicked into action, piping Kyle's music throughout the studio.
Kyle. What am I listening to, bro? What am I listening to? This is not the wine and dine music we were supposed to be giving to Rachel May, Kyle. Dang, bruh. Do better. You don't even want to listen to this, man.
Rachel briefly listened, a blank expression on her face.
Blank. You don't want that when she's listening to your tune.
Smiling, Kyle closed his eyes and enjoyed the music for a moment. Then, he spoke.
Kyle, I might bang you in your face, bro.
All right. Now everything's ready. Let's begin. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier.
Yeah, blank expression. Do you ever smile?
Do you ever smile? Spat Kyle. Like, seriously.
I just played a banger tune for you, babes. Why are you not smiling?
I'm sorry, Kyle, said Rachel. What on earth is this music? It's very... well, it's something.
That's what I've been saying. This music is trash. Kyle, what? I could produce better music live than this. But you're my boy, Kyle. And she just violated your music taste. Dump her ass. I know you're not together. I don't... Dump her.
It's an old favorite, Rachel, said Kyle. This is what I grew up on. It's part of my most special collection.
Collection?
Kyle and Rachel sat silently, the music playing in the background. Rachel began to frown.
You don't want her frowning when she's with you, gang. That's textbook 101. Oh my gosh. Kyle, how am I gonna get her to like you, bro? Your music taste is trash. You don't take opportunities when they present themselves. You're a bench player. You're a substitute.
Suddenly, the wall next to Kyle exploded.
Okay, that was a bit sudden. Alright then.
Through the hole stepped several men in dazzling, flamboyant costumes of bright color. They held guitars, pianos, and other instruments.
It's the wiggle! Nah,
Kyle, said the man in front, we are the band of your childhood.
Incorrect!
Kyle's jaw dropped, smiling. He put his hands to his cheeks. His eyes sparkled.
Which cheeks? Kyle. Wait. Okay.
We have come to issue a grievance about playing our music on TV without a license.
Oh, I thought you were here for me, not to go against me, bro.
The man took his guitar in both hands and began slamming Kyle's face repeatedly. After several hours, the grievance had been sufficiently repaid. The band left through the hole they had created in the wall.
Kyle! Speak, my nigga!
Kyle lay on the floor, thinking about what had happened.
What?
Rachel slowly slid to his side.
Hold on! This might have been a blessing in disguise!
Are you feeling okay, Kyle? She asked. She had a concerned expression on her face.
I am now that you're here. Come on, Kyle.
Have you ever met your childhood idol, Rachel? Asked Kyle.
Ooh.
The person you looked up to for as long as you can remember.
Mm.
I can't say I have, said Rachel. Kyle raised both fists into the air.
Yeah!
Feels amazing!
Yeah! Kyle, you legend!
Kyle spent the rest of Rachel's interview chatting happily about meeting his lifelong favorite band.
Forget that bitch!
Rachel listened and asked questions politely, seeming unfazed that her moment on TV had been uprooted.
She's the one. Dump her ass. I know you're not together. I don't dump her.
Eventually, the studio was out of time and the broadcast shut off. Kyle and Rachel walked out of the studio together. Kyle was grinning widely.
Come on!
The two said their goodbyes and walked off in separate directions.
Kyle, take opportunities when they come to you, gang.
As Kyle walked home, he felt like the interview had been everything he had hoped it to be. Kyle had gotten everything he had ever wanted as a child.
I can respect that. Is that what happens when you played music? What if I play better music, dog? CDs. Take that. Would she like Connie music? She's probably such a weirdo. She likes classical music. Connie, I'm going with my heart. Steel Techno Gym,
Quickly,
nigga.
before the
Boom gang, hold on, gang.
Kyle, finding that Techno Gym's cardboard. Kyle.
Let's return to the apartment. So I got Techno Gym on me. What's new?
Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eye. I'm looking forward to being here.
Yeah. Move away, Rachel May. I'm gonna be interviewing Techno Gym.
Kyle roughly shoved Rachel out of her seat and placed Techno Gym in her stead.
Yeah.
Hello, Techno Gym, said Kyle. I'm going to interview you today. Kyle grasped Techno Jim's hand and tried to shake it, but instead tore it off the cardboard frame.
Kyle, you absolute clown of a man.
Kyle's producer, sent to viral media, pulled the bewildered Rachel out of frame and motioned the crew to
He knows what he's on. He knows what he's on.
Cameramen moved, lights flashed, and suddenly the studio was on air. Hi, I'm Kyle, said Kyle, and tonight I'm going to interview a very special guest. He pointed at Techno Jim using the dismembered arm. Techno Jim started to smoke from the heat of the lights.
You know what? Doesn't sound... Okay.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Asked Kyle. Knowing Jim would probably not speak, Kyle took it upon himself to be his voice as well.
Go on, lad.
Hi, Kyle, he said, raising the pitch of his voice. My name is Rachel May, and I'm a very special guest. Rachel's expression of confusion turned to shock. Well, Rachel, you look way too thin and absolutely terrible, and you should feel ugly. Kyle gave Jim a meaningful stare.
Kyle! Yes, sir!
Wow, Kyle, he said. I sure wish I could look like you. Techno Jim burst into flames.
Oh, come on, man. You're ruining the moment.
Instantaneously, the sprinkler system initiated. Curtains of water poured down from the rafters.
Oh, this game is sick. It's got the rain filter. Yo!
Within seconds, the production equipment was doused in water. The set was soon aburst with electrical fires.
Everything's on fire. Wait, we're dead.
Kyle's crew abandoned their posts as cameramen and sound mixers to try to put the fires out. As the crew scrambled around, the cameras continued to run. Kyle sat, motionless, staring forward. Eventually, the fires were all put out. Kyle's producer shut off the broadcast, leaving Kyle's vacant stare as the final frame. Kyle's ratings skyrocketed.
I'm a genius, blood.
Techno Jim became a staple on the show, often ending up destroyed by the end of each episode.
That's my nigga.
Although Rachel did not come back on the show, her cardboard portrayal did. Rachel was very popular.
Come on, nigga. The Carnival CD.
As Rachel started to reply, Kyle clamped his hand over her mouth. Hush, he said. I need to do something before we can continue. Kyle removed the CD he had brought to the interview and placed it in a nearby player deck.
Kyle, come on now, son.
The sound system kicked into action, piping Kyle's music throughout the studio.
Trash.
Rachel briefly listened, a blank expression on her face. Smiling, Kyle closed his eyes.
I can't
and enjoyed the music
even
for a
bear
moment.
to listen to this
Then
right now.
He spoke. All right, now everything's ready. Let's begin. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. A burning question from the fans, said Kyle. Beef, do you prefer it mashed or
Actually,
blended?
this music is so ass. I don't even want to listen to it.
I'm sorry, Kyle, said Rachel. What on earth is this music? It's very... well, it's something. It's an old favorite, Rachel, said Kyle. This is what I grew up on. It's part of my most special collection.
Is this the same as before?
Kyle and Rachel sat silently, the music playing in the background. Rachel began to frown. Suddenly, the wall next to Kyle exploded. Through the hole stepped several men. Kyle's jaw dropped.
It's the same. I bet classical music. She likes classical music.
The pleasure of As Rachel started to reply. Hush. Kyle removed the sound system kicked into action, piping Kyle's music throughout the studio. Rachel briefly listened. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. A burning.
I thought she would have liked classical music. Okay, I'm just gonna reset the interview. Alright, I'm just gonna let her ask me the questions, dude. Beef, blended or mashed?
Burning question from the fans, said Kyle. Beef, do you prefer it mashed or blended?
Me personally? Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kyle, said Rachel. What on earth is this music? It's very... well, it's something.
I didn't even. What are you talking about, bitch?
It's an old favorite, Rachel, said Kyle. This is what I grew up on. It's part of my most special collection.
I just brought the CD with me. I didn't actually play the music. Okay, I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna reset this bit. A bunch of questions. I want to do some of the more wacky stuff, the more weird stuff. Like, wither away. Wither away.
Kyle decided to stay put and wither away. Kyle withered successfully and died.
See, kids, this is what happens when you press snooze on you die.
Kyle is now a ghost. This does not relieve him of his responsibilities.
Oh, you're taking the piss. Wait! The locked room. I can get into the locked room because I'm a ghost, right?
Kyle walked over to the strange door
Yeah.
in the hallway, but found quickly that the door was locked from the inside.
I'm a genius!
Kyle used his ghostly powers to walk straight through the door.
Right through that bit. Ignored. Okay. Various items sent to him by fans. A sewing machine, a laser claymore, and a supernatural artifact. Oh my gosh. I want the laser claymore.
Expecting a battle, Kyle grabbed the laser claymore.
It's a blade. It's a blade! Yeah?
Kyle knelt down.
Yeah, I'm
The old
so
rusty container that had
smart,
been in his
dude!
closet for ages. It was locked, but had a blade-shaped slot in the top.
I'm actually a genius.
Kyle took the laser claymore in his hand and slid it into the hole on top of the box.
Yeah!
The box began to rumble slowly, but then it shook harder and harder.
Harder?
Suddenly, with a snap, the box lid came loose. Kyle, giddy with excitement, grabbed the box to drag it into the light. With much sweating and pulling, Kyle slowly inched the box out of his closet. He began to giggle and drool.
Ugh! Nigga, you're nasty.
Soon, the box had been transported into the middle of the room.
Okay.
Kyle
Okay.
clapped his hands together and gripped the lid on either side. With a tug, it tumbled to the floor, revealing the contents of the box.
What's in it?
There was nothing inside.
You was gassing her up for nothing, bruh?
Kyle was incredibly disappointed. This had been an opportunity for him, a way to find something new, a way to break up the routine.
Exactly.
Suddenly, Kyle was struck with an unquenchable feeling of boredom about his life.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Kyle jumped to his feet and burst outside, hungry to find anything that could give his day a feeling of interest.
Okay.
Painfully, Kyle started grabbing anything he could reach, smashing it into his face to see what it could possibly do for him.
That was actually scared me a bit.
Rocks, benches, people, squirrels, and the ground itself fell into Kyle's grasp. But soon, his energy began to wane. Slowly, sadly, Kyle made his way back to his apartment, quietly grabbing small items off the ground and rubbing them against himself.
Ew. I don't like the way you said that.
Kyle slowly sank into his bed, as bored as when he had left earlier that day. He looked at the ceiling, feeling hollow. The day had been very hard.
Just like...
As he slowly fell asleep, Kyle wondered what he could possibly do tomorrow to inspire a new sense of interest in his life.
Aren't you a ghost? Aren't you dead, nigga?
He didn't know it then, but tomorrow, Kyle would try something new.
What, you're gonna end it? Oh, you're a pagan. Unlocked Kyle is hot dog. I got an unlock. Should I end it there? We'll go for... What if I just bring the sword to the bin? I'll bring the sword to the thing. Oh! Change jobs! What? That wasn't there before! Wait! This game is wait! Oh, it's so much deeper than I thought, bro. Oh my gosh. Dude. Dude, I have to leave it there, dude. I can't. How many endings did I get? Dude, I can't do this. Okay, I don't want to spoil. Okay, what is the? Became bored. I don't know what happened. I don't know about any of this. Oh, dude. No breakfast. I had that. Nudist. I didn't get the runaway bit. Dude, I have to leave that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this insight into pretty much like a day by day, blow by blow of my life. If you want to know more about how I live, make sure to say so in the comments. I don't even know. Uh, yeah, that's basically it. Dude, why are you still here?